Good morning, my friends. Wonderful to see you this morning. Let's do some singing, shall we? Wanted to let you know that Slip, our accompanist, let's rise and body your spirit. Our usual accompanist this morning is not here because they have the flu. So at the last moment, like yesterday, I asked my sweet husband, Steve Nye, to step in and play for us on guitar. So, yahoo! Yeah. So how about, let's take one more step. Let's sing one more step together. One more step. We will take one more step till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word. We will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. Will say one more word. One more prayer. We will say one more prayer till every prayer is shared by everyone. Will say one more prayer. One more song. We will sing one more song till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song. And now we're going to do an a cappella piece called Lead with Love. You could probably turn my mic down just a smidge. Thank you. It goes like, you're going to do a call and response piece. We're going to sing the chorus together, this part, and then on the next part, I'll sing a phrase, and you sing it back to me. How about that? Okay, so this part, I'll sing it for you. You get it in your ear. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. Sing it with me. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. Let's do it again. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. Look up ahead. The path is there. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Good. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. I know you're scared. And I'm scared too. And I'm scared too. But here I am. But here I am. Right next to you. Right next. And sing it. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one Everybody awake now? Yeah, good. Well, welcome to Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Guess what? We're glad you're here. Each and every one of you. I'm super glad you're here. We're all glad. My name is Reverend Dana Lightsey, and I actually am your worship associate today because we have a very special guest, Reverend Lydia Ferrante-Roseberry, joining us as our special guest, our special speaker. This, my friends, is a come-as-you-are congregation. You are welcome here, just as you are. And I want to extend a special welcome to any of our visitors. We're delighted you're joining us this morning, and we hope you have a great time and join our community and be a part of us. We would love to stay connected with you, so if you feel like it, please fill out our visitor card so that we can stay in communication. And here at Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation, we foster a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, acts mindfully for the good of the planet, and inspires spiritual growth through a free and loving search for truth and meaning. We honor the ground that we walk upon and acknowledge this land as the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. We recognize and honor that Indigenous peoples are the original stewards of this land, and we vow, let's say that again, and we vow to reconcile the deep wounds that still shape our world today. So, after the service today, good morning. After the service today, we have a very special workshop that we'll be doing that I hope you all join us for. I brought lots of food. The most important part, right? No. So we have lots of food, and we're going to be talking about the work of Together Colorado. Fortunately, Reverend Lydia, who is our affiliated community minister, is also on staff for Together Colorado. And we'll be talking about all the ways that we can continue to make a difference in the world through the amazing work that they're doing. And we have many wonderful activities and events coming up throughout the week and beyond. So on your order of service that you're looking at, flip it over. Yeah. And there's amazing information there. Here are a few highlights and a couple things that aren't on that list. If you happen to be hearing impaired, we have our new hearing impaired system. It's up and running. I know, so cool. So if you want to try it out, we have 7 different sets back there ready to go. Rebecca, I don't know, Rebecca was back there. Maybe she's still back there. You can go back and grab a headset and try it out. We'd love to help you out. Also, many of you know, and some of you may not know, that our beloved choir director, music director, Ryan Marvel, is leaving in June. And for all of the ways that he has blessed us and given us incredible music for the last 3.5 years, we would like to bless him back by bringing in as many donations as we can to give him a special gift. We will use it to give him a very special gift when we celebrate his leaving. And so Tam graciously turned our pledge box into a donations for Ryan box. So, and he knows, if he were here, I would be embarrassing him terribly. So it's good to tell you all this when he's not here. But please do donate. And if you would rather donate online, you can click on our donation button on our website, and there's a drop-down box that is Gifts for Ryan. Thank you. The women's group is meeting this Tuesday from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and we're going to have an inspiring evening of stories and music. Andrea Van Nest is leading everything, and rumor has it that Katie Fox and I are going to help with some music, so it'll be fun. And there are also some great stories from folks. If you're interested in becoming a member, or you just want to learn even more about Unitarian Universalism, come to Exploring Membership next Saturday from 9 o'clock to noon. Next Saturday, or that's Saturday, April 26th. I'm a week ahead of myself. Yeah, the 26th. So you can read more about that. And next Sunday, in most churches, is considered Easter. Our theme for the month is joy, and the title is Resurrecting Joy. We're also celebrating Earth Day at the same time. So join Linda Lyons and Ryan as our musician for a wonderful, wonderful celebration next week. And I have already introduced Reverend Lydia, so I want to thank everyone who's a part of today's service and making all of this happen. And thank you for being here. What? Oh. My little whisperer here. So in case you didn't realize it, our goal for the month, for the pledge drive was $160,000. And our final total is $171,281. Wow, that's phenomenal, you guys. Woo! And a very special thanks to Tam Paquette and to Kathy Spoon for heading up the pledge drive, and for so many of our volunteers who were a part of making the pledge drive happen. And thank you for Lydia for being a consultant on that as well. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Okay, opening words.
Our opening words this morning are from Margaret Wheatley. She's an American writer and speaker known for her work on leadership, systems thinking, and resilience in complex environments. Sounds like we could all use to be reading a little bit more Margaret Wheatley. In her 2002 book, Turning to One Another, she emphasizes the transforming power of authentic dialogue in order to build meaningful relationships.
Wheatley says, "There is no power greater than a community discovering what it cares about. Ask what's possible, not what's wrong, and keep asking."
Notice what you care about. Assume that many others share your dreams. Be brave enough to start a conversation that matters.
Talk to people you know. Talk to people you don't know. Talk to people you never talk to.
Be intrigued by the differences you hear. Expect to be surprised. Treasure curiosity more than certainty.
Invite in everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Acknowledge that everyone is an expert about something, and know that creative solutions come from new connections.
Remember, you don't fear people whose story you know. Real listening always brings people closer together. Trust that meaningful conversations can change your world.
Rely on human goodness and stay together. Let's say that together. Rely on human goodness and stay together. May it be so. And as a part of staying together, I invite us to share together our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I invite us now to rise and turn to those around you and share the spirit of love by greeting each other. Thank you. Well, that was all too fun. And now, let's have some fun with our kids. If you happen to consider yourself to be a child of any age, I invite you to come sit with me up here. Any age, come on up. Woohoo!
I am an 11-year-old child.
All right, an 11-year-old child counts. Come on up, sweetheart. Do you want to sit right here? Oh, good. Come on up. So good to see you. Yeah, yes. Okay. Adult children are allowed as well.
Yeah, all of the adult children, get up here.
My guess is they can probably hear us. Oh, very good. I can vouch for that. So I have a story about kids who changed the world. Do you think kids can change the world?
Yes.
Oh, love it. These are you kids for sure. Absolutely, we can change the world, even as kids. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
BB can too.
What is that?
BB
B,
can.
yep.
BB can too.
BB can too. Well, this is a story about Phoebe, close to like BB, and Nika, who were two 8-year-old girls who sometimes heard about terrible things happening in the world. Do any of you hear about terrible things happening in the world?
Yes.
I know. Even though we try to keep it from you, it does happen.
Sure.
Wars where people are hurt, or earthquakes, or politics.
President Trump.
Yep. And these kids wanted to help. And so they talked to other kids at their church, at their Unitarian Universalist church, just like ours. And they talked to all the other kids. I know, that's my microphone. Yeah. And they started to, thank you, I love yours. They started a group called Change the World Kids. Change the World Kids. Let's say that together. Change the World Kids. They want to take care of people, animals, and the earth. And they learned that when kids work together, they really can make a difference. The Change the World Kids became an action club, and their motto is this: no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. Let's say that together. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. Yeah. And they also learned about the ripple effect, that when you drop a pebble in the water, it sends ripples out in all directions. And the same is true when someone does something kind or helpful. Even a small action can spread and make a difference. And then one spring, some of the kids noticed that fewer birds were coming to their backyard feeders. Anybody have a backyard bird feeder? A few of us, yeah.
We have a bird feeder in our front yard.
Well, they were really worried. Where had all the birds gone? And so they talked to a scientist who, I think we have some scientists in here, some scientists who explained that birds migrate from the winter. Do you like birds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, birds travel. They go south in the wintertime where it's warmer, and then they come north in the summertime. And these birds were going to Costa Rica, but in Costa Rica, the trees were being cut down. I know. And without the trees, some birds had nowhere to eat or sleep. And some birds, like the three-wattled bellbird, wouldn't even fly over land if it didn't have trees. If the birds couldn't find food, they might not survive. That's a problem, huh? Yeah. So the kids wondered, how can they possibly help the birds in Costa Rica when they live in Vermont? And they remembered the ripple effect. Even if they couldn't do everything, they could do something. So they got to work. They raised money to help start a tree nursery in Costa Rica. And they used some of the money to buy land where trees could grow and birds could return. Some of the kids even traveled to Costa Rica to help plant the trees. Wouldn't that be fun to go to Costa Rica and plant trees? I think so too. Over time, they planted more than 40,000 trees. Wow. And this story's kind of old, so, you know, it's probably more than that by now. And then they got to help scientists tag birds, and they put small bands on the legs of the leg of a bird, and they got to hold a red-breasted grosbeak and a wood thrush, both birds that also visited Vermont in the spring and summer. And the kids knew that if they helped the birds in Costa Rica, they were also helping the birds that come home to Vermont. So they were making ripples that reached across countries. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? As Phoebe and Nika grew older, more kids joined the club, and now the Change the World kids include middle schoolers and teenagers from different religions all over the world. And they're still making ripples. They've made reusable shopping bags to reduce waste. They build clotheslines so that people can use the power of the sun instead of electricity to dry their clothes. They shoveled snow for elderly neighbors, and they've raised money to help children in Rwanda where families have struggled because of war. That's a great thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. With each project, the Change the World kids proved that Phoebe and Nika learned. Let's say it together. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. And every kind action, big or small, sends ripples through the world, ripples that can change lives, protect animals, care for the earth, and bring people hope. Yeah, we can be Change the World kids too, hey? Yeah, I think we already are. Let's do it. Well, we're gonna sing you to class now, and I see that Janet has a bunch of instruments out. Maybe I'm gonna go to class with you instead. Okay, we're gonna sing this in a cappella. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
There's a story about a college professor who walked into the classroom and stood in front of his class. He stared at one student and said, "You need to leave. I don't want to see you in my lecture room ever again." The shocked student looked around and then said, "I don't understand." He replied that he was the teacher and he wanted her to leave. She gathered up her books and papers and hesitantly walked out of the class. On her way out, she glanced at the other students, and one by one, they looked away. No one said a word. The professor stood for a while not speaking, but when he did, he said this, "Why are there laws?" One student replied, "Justice." "Yes," said the professor. "So do you think I was unfair to your classmate just now?" No one spoke. They just nodded in agreement. Then he asked, "So why didn't any of you protest? Why didn't any of you try to stop me? Why didn't any of you want to stop this injustice?" He explained that they learned a valuable lesson about justice and that they didn't say anything because it didn't affect themselves, and that attitude spoke against them. They didn't speak out against the injustice because it was none of their business, and I would guess they were afraid. He then warned that one day they might be the focus of injustice, and there would be no one there to stand before them. He advocated that we must all fight for truth and justice. He insisted that we must all stand up for each other, whether we know the person being persecuted or not. He said that we must speak up for folks who cannot speak for themselves. He reported to the class that he was there to teach each one of them to find the power of their voices. The anxiety diminished in the room, and the students nervously smiled. Our silence gives consent. This was a powerful lesson to these students. If even one person had stood up and challenged the professor, there might have been others who would have followed their lead. The collective power of right would have outweighed the appointed power of the teacher. The lesson here is to not blindly follow the actions of an unjust authority figure. We must not discard our morals and ethics when we see injustice running rampant in our country and our communities. There is always a way to use our voices, whether it is to stand in the streets protesting, writing letters to the newspapers and representatives, attending town hall and city council meetings, donating to your favorite candidates, engaging in economic boycotts, etc. The point is, we must own our power and voices. We must stand together and not back down for what we know is right. What kind of a world do we envision for ourselves and our children? On another note, something that wasn't discussed is that the young woman who was ousted from the class actually had a choice too. She paid for that class. She showed up on time and was not engaging in inappropriate behavior. She had every right to resist. She could have calmly stated that she was not going anywhere and he could call the campus police if he chose to. These lessons need to be remembered when we are faced with immigration issues especially. No one should be kidnapped by unmarked thugs without showing proper identification and brandishing a court order. Last week, a mix of masked and unmasked ICE shock troopers attempted to abduct the school nurse at Cook Elementary School in DC. Workers at the school intervened and demanded a warrant and held up their phones to record the activity. The ICE agents left without making an arrest. They later issued a statement that they weren't there to detain anyone. There were videos, witnesses, and a statement by the DC Public School headquarters to the ICE agency. The courage of these educators and administrators to stand up to those people and to protect their nurse was not only admirable, but legal. We must shine our light on these practices, and in doing so, assume our collective power. To spread light on the injustices of the world and to illuminate the power of our voices. May it be so.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sue. Beautiful. And each week, we support the work of this church, fighting the injustices of the world, through our donations, through your very generous financial donations. But we also support another nonprofit each Sunday. And right now, we are supporting wildland restoration volunteers. And they started with 20 people, but they've grown to 3,500. Sounds like a very successful nonprofit. And Wildland Restoration Volunteers empowers residents to care for the lands through Wildlife University and a bilingual youth and families program. Their activities are all along the Front Range and include projects on the Big Thompson River. And if you'd like more information about them, talk to Pedro Lopez, who I saw him earlier. Oh, there he is. He's up in our balcony. He's a balcony dweller. Thank you, Pedro. Pedro serves on their board. So thank you for being generous and supporting this very important nonprofit as well. So each week, I know you didn't know I played the flute, some of you, but now you know, so there you go. What can I say? The secret's out. So each week, we come together to celebrate the joys and the sorrows that are happening in each other's lives. And if you happen to have a brief, personal joy or sorrow, let me say again, a brief, personal, no announcements, joy or sorrow that you would like to share, please just raise your hand and I'll bring you the microphone. And anyone on Zoom, please post into the chat and Doug will read them out for us. Thank you. And as in response to each other, let's put our hands on our hearts. And whether it's a joy, concern, sorrow, whatever it is, let's remind each other that we hold each other in our hearts. Thank you. May it be so. Okay. It's okay.
So I have a joy. My name is Kate McCracken, and my husband is Patrick. He just had a knee replacement. Wow.
Sort of the same
And
thing.
a lot of people are asking about him. He's still in quite a lot of pain, but doing better and better every day, it seems. And we want to thank everybody for the meals because they have helped tremendously. Thank you so much. So thank you. I love being part of this community. It's my heart.
Thank you. And we hold you in our hearts. Thank you. Good, good, good. Others? Well, this is unusual. Okay. Okay, we've got one back here too. Good.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, we. Okay.
Thank you. Wow. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kat. I did share a while ago, but over spring break, Clay and I went to Oregon to help out my parents. My mom has been dealing with lung issues and issues related to a lifetime of diabetes. And my dad had been dealing with a lot of anxiety around that, and also that was affecting his health. This past week, well, my mom's doing a little bit better, but this past week, my dad has been in the hospital most of the week.
Oh, my.
It turns out, we don't know if it's chicken or the egg with his anxiety, but he has had like an AFib issue.
Oh, wow.
AFib for the last, I guess, since December, and they're just now really taking it seriously. And there's, lots of complications involved with that too. I'm very happy that he's been released and that they are going to get some in-home health care. So very happy for that. But this is all within like the span of a year or two that both of them have just kind of had it rough. So appreciating all the prayers, not only for the physical piece, but I think there's an emotional piece for both of them. So we could just lift them up. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. We hold you in our hearts and your family. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Welcome, welcome.
Hey everybody, my name is Andrew.
We have somebody back here, Clay. Okay.
Check 1, 2. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So my name's Andrew Newby. I just wanted to share that I got a new job this week at a bronze foundry in Berthoud, and I'm excited to learn a new skill. So that is my joy.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Yeah, we hold you in our hearts. Bravo. Yeah. Okay, good. Clay, you have someone up there?
Are we good?
Yeah. Oh, good.
So, some of you know this, but my wife Donna and I were expecting our second over the last winter, and so Brennan was born February 10th, and a couple days ago turned 2 months. Wow. So that's our new bundle of joy, is having our son. He's growing really well. He's eating great. He's 2 months and already like almost 12 pounds. So doing wonderful on all that. We're just tired, but happy. So yeah.
Yeah. Woohoo! Congratulations. And we hold all of you in our hearts. Absolutely. Good. Others. Okay, nothing on Zoom. We have a number of people, and if I start listing people, I might forget someone, so I'm not going to, but I'm just going to say we have a lot of people who are dealing with stress and loss of jobs, I hear, and also serious medical issues in our community. So I invite you to just close your eyes for a moment, and we hold our community with love and radiate that love out to everyone. May all be well. May all be healed. Amen. Thank you.
Today I'm going to invite us into a meditation. It's an adaptation of an exercise I learned from Joanna Macy, who is a Buddhist social activist, now well into her 90s. And I had the privilege of studying with her in seminary, and her work has stayed with me throughout my whole ministry. I find myself continually coming back to it. So I'm going to be giving you some instructions during this kind of guided meditation. It's also interactive, but the invitation for you is to remain silent through the whole thing. And as I go through it, you might feel like you want to, it might be hard, but that's my invitation. So just remain silent and take this as a form of meditation and connection. So just start by taking a couple breaths. Focus on your breath. Begin to pay attention to your body in your seat. I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, or just point your gaze downward. And now imagine, if you will, that you are within a large group of people, strangers, people you don't know. Maybe you're at a mall or on a busy city street, and you're rushing to get some things done. Perhaps it's Christmas Eve, and you're getting all those last-minute gifts. You are lost in your thoughts, in your to-do list, in your agenda, and your must-get-done-now energy. You have important things to do in this moment, and you are hyper-focused. And the people around you are mere obstacles in your way. Feel in your body that tension of having to make your way among others as if they were obstacles. Does this feel familiar to you in any way? Take a little inventory about how much of your day you might spend rushing around in your own thoughts, in your own bubble, trying to ignore perhaps or get around the other humans in your midst. Hopefully, you don't live all of your time that way. But if you're like me, this might not be unfamiliar to feel the rush of life on you with these external demands that get in the way of some possible real connecting. Now I invite you to open your eyes or lift your gaze and make eye contact, if you like, with someone sitting near you. Or just make sure you connect up with someone sitting near you, whether it's actual eye contact or just being in relationship with someone sitting near you. If you're close enough to someone, you can non-verbally ask permission to take their hand in yours. And if you don't want to be doing that with someone, you can just put your hands across your chest and give yourself a hug during any part of this. So without speaking, pop over. Let yourself register this person's presence next to yours. If you're comfortable, look into their eyes, and whether you do that or not, let yourself become aware of the powerful person that is before you. Open your awareness to the gifts and strengths and all the potentials of this being that you are now connected with. Behind those eyes are unmeasurable reserves of courage and intelligence, of patience, endurance, wit, and wisdom. There are gifts there, many gifts, some of which this person themselves is unaware. Consider what these powers could do for the healing of our planet. If the person before you believed that they had these gifts, in this being are powers that can rebound to the joy of all beings. And as you consider that, let yourself become aware of your desire for this person you are connected with to be free from fear. Experience how much you want this being to be free from greed, released from hatred and from sorrow and from all the causes of suffering, so they can live fully into their own unique power and beauty. And as you do that, know that you are experiencing the great loving kindness. Express your gratitude to this person in any way that feels appropriate. And if you can, turn your body around in the pew. Turn your body around in the pew and find someone else to make a connection with. So see if you can find someone else. Silently. Join hands or link arms with a second person, if that's comfortable for you. And regardless of whether you look into someone else's eyes, center yourself in the presence of this other person. And this time, let yourself become aware of the pain that this person has endured in their life. There are sorrows accumulated in that life, as in all human lives, though you may only be able to guess at them. There are disappointments and failures and losses and loneliness and abuse in these lives that you are connected with. There are hurts beyond the telling. Let yourself open to that pain, to hurts that this person may never have told another person. You cannot fix that pain. It's not your job to even try. But you can be with that pain. And let yourself simply be with that suffering that you know is a part of the human condition and therefore a part of this person's life. And know that what you are experiencing is the great compassion. This is very good for the healing of our world. Now express your compassion for this person without words in any way that feels right. And finally, I'm going to invite you to do this connecting one more time with me. find another way to connect. If it's with the same person, that's fine, but just find another point of connection. Move yourself around. And in silence again. In silence again. I want you, with this other person, to consider how good it would be to work together on a joint project, on a common goal. What would it be like taking risks together with this person, conspiring together in zest and in laughter, celebrating your successes, consoling each other over the setbacks, forgiving each other when you make mistakes, and simply being there with each other? Imagine what that would feel like. And know that when you feel that feeling, you are opening yourself to the great wealth, the pleasure in each other's power, and the joy in each other's joy. And imagine that you have that capacity with everyone you meet to offer loving kindness, to connect with the great compassion, and to engage with the great wealth of joy found in recognizing the power and joy in others. Bring this exercise out into the world with you. May it be so.
I invite you to sing with us, How Could Anyone?
Well, I told you that meditation would be hard to do without talking, right? We just want to be like, oh, but the power of that is actually the silence of that you actually can take that out into the world with you and have great compassion for everyone you meet. Imagine the power you could have if you were working together and the joy that you could have by bringing the common good together, by being part of bringing the common good into existence together. So, and that song, How Could Anyone? My goodness, how do I do that without crying? So my work as a community organizer may not be what people think of as a community organizer. Because a lot of what I'm doing is helping people have these meaningful connections with one another, because you don't fear people whose stories you know. And so story and connecting and relationship building, that is central to my work as a community organizer and to Together Colorado's work, which I'll be talking about in a little bit. Take a deep breath. Yesterday morning, I was in Parker Hall with about 10 folks from the Namaqua Social Justice Committee. If you were there, would you raise your hands? I know Doug was there. Look at these great folks. They spent their morning with me. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. We shared, each of us, we started our morning sharing about how we are impacted by the state of the world right now. How we and the people we love are suffering. We heard stories about people losing their jobs, concerns about people's financial stability, concerns about people we know living with the fear of deportation, and just shared the feelings of being just plain angry, confused, and demoralized by the cruel and chaotic shock and awe approach of our current administration. I never thought the word awe would become such a what's the word, anti-sacred. Like, I've always experienced that as a sacred word, and to see how it is used now and how it is being brought into our public realm is shocking. Thank you. It just made, I'm like out of words, right? Like, which is odd for a minister, but I am. Some of us were literally talking about feeling sickened by the situation, like physically sickened, right? And everyone had a story to tell. I shared how my husband is the development director of an international nonprofit based here in the US that provides digital assistance to international nonprofit organizations, or NGOs. With the stroke of a pen, their organization lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in USAID and Justice Department funding, leaving the organizations that they support out worldwide destitute, and his organization struggling to stay afloat. That's just one story, right? None of us is immune to what's happening, although some of us obviously will be more severely impacted. The point of this initial storytelling wasn't just about doom sharing, as I like to call it. You know those moments when you just spiral down with someone, you've been there, come on. Did you hear this? And you're looking at he said that, they're cutting that, right? So that's just a spiraling down, right? We need to vent and we need to say things. But the point of this is to help each other articulate what's at stake for us personally in these times. Not in an individualistic, selfish way, but to understand our own self-interests, because that will feed and fuel our work for the common good, because our own lives depend on it, or we know from deep experience the impact of that particular form of oppression. Self-interest is not a word that people use very often. We often associate it with selfishness, or imagine we're supposed to be selfless as a kind of moral way to live in the world. But self-interest is something different. It's in between that. It's deeply personal. It's the culmination of our values, our experiences, who we love, and what we want to see in the world. It's what we want to see in the world. Self-interest is what's at stake for me, not just caring for others because I feel obligated to by my faith or by somebody else's vision of what I'm supposed to be interested in, but really what's at stake for me. When we understand our own self-interest, we become clear about our own path to power and our purpose. So in my own life, my daughter used to work at the King Soopers at Table Mesa in Boulder. She was an employee there on the day of this shooting there. She wasn't there that day. She had taken the day off perchance, but her coworkers died in that shooting. Within a month, I joined Moms Demand Action, and I have been committed to that group since that moment. That's my self-interest clarifying my purpose, my call to action. That's how that works. Contemporary author and poet Ian Thomas wrote, "And every day the world will drag you by the hand, yelling, 'This is important, and this is important. You need to worry about this, and this, and this.' And each day it's up to you to yank your hand back, put it back on your heart, and say, 'No, this is what's important.'" How many of you feel like you're getting yanked around right now? By a gazillion this is importance, right? And they are important, no doubt. No doubt. But we will burn ourselves out if we don't get that clarity of purpose and move in that direction. And that's why Together Colorado, the grassroots organizing project, where I work as a community minister, is holding these house meetings. We're going to have house meetings here in the sanctuary following the service. We believe that the building blocks to power come from our stories, yours and mine, together with those of hundreds of people around the state. Because when I truly know you, when I know your story and your struggles and your strengths, I'll show up for you, Sue. And when Tam truly knows me, my stories, my struggles, my strengths, I trust that she'll show up for me. That's how collective power is built. So it doesn't mean that everybody's showing up everywhere, but it means we have a web of relationships, and the people for whom, like me, guns is the thing, I'll go do my guns thing. But when I need a lot of people behind me, I'm going to call Tam and Sue and Rebecca, and I'm going to know that you will show up for me. And you've heard why guns is important to me, so it becomes also important to you. Does that make sense to you, how that building happens? There's plenty of examples in our history of how powerful relational organizing works. Harriet Tubman used this tool to organize the Underground Railroad and the later abolitionist actions. Ella Baker and others used house meetings during the Civil Rights Movement as a central part of building power. Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta used house meetings as a starting point for founding the United Farm Workers. This is not new. It is a tried and true relational tool that builds power far, far better, I will say, than an Instagram post. So how does that turn into organizing for power? How does that help us build something together? Let me tell you a story from my former congregation, the Boulder Valley UU Fellowship in Lafayette. They use this organizing model of having one-to-one conversations instead of house meetings, and one-to-ones are also incredibly important in building relational power with one another. And they found out originally that when they talked to individuals, they found one of the concerns was a gap in healthcare funding for children. This was about a decade ago. There was a CHIP and the S-CHIP program, and there was a gap in the number of kids enrolled in these health insurance programs and the number of kids who were eligible. So they focused the energy of the congregation on that issue. And on that issue, they moved from, they figured out that, well, they tried to get the county to respond, and the county had their own issues. But they kept organizing and organizing, and they found that there was a grant they could get to get outreach workers into the schools to help kids get enrolled in these programs. And they brought the county together in front of 100 people in the congregation and beyond, and they said, we want you to apply for this grant. Like, use your staff dollars, apply for this grant, leverage that money to get more coverage for children. And it worked, and they got more coverage for children. Like, the gap closed tremendously from like 25% to 6% in like 3 or 4 years. So beautiful story. However, I'm going to tell you something else about that story. When it came time for them to find people within that congregation who had that as their issue in their hearts, they couldn't find too many. It is a relatively affluent congregation, so it wasn't touching at the hearts of the congregation. So they went and they did another round of one-to-one conversations with people and small groups, and the organizer came to me and said, there's another issue that's really at the heart of this congregation, and before we do this, I want to make sure you're on board, because the issue is mental health. This was about a decade ago. And they were hearing stories of people whose children spend 48 hours in psychosis as a child in an ER because there were not enough beds. They heard stories about people who just did not even know where to turn when their child was in crisis, or when their parent was in crisis, or their spouse was in crisis. So they organized, and what they realized was we needed a navigator in Boulder County, one call where you could start and kind of figure out how to navigate the mental health system in Boulder County. And they did that, and they had small group conversations, and more things came up, and I realized this mental health system in Boulder County is broken. And so they worked with the county, and they got people behind them so that Boulder County ultimately, probably 3 years into the work, named mental health as one of their 3 priorities for the countywide initiatives. It was like mental health, housing, and don't remember the third one, but it was mental health. And then a couple of years later, when all that money came in from the federal government for ARPA, remember, the post-COVID money poured into our local jurisdictions because mental health was one of the priorities. They got a lot of money for mental health, created a whole mental health roadmap, and the services now have gone from one occasional navigator to a whole array of services in Boulder County. And I know this because my child has mental health issues. And a few years ago, I tried calling the navigator service and got a response. It wasn't particularly helpful to me. A few months ago, I called again, and I spoke to someone who said, let me listen to what your concerns are. I'm going to take this back, and in a couple days, you'll get an email with resources that we think would be good for you. And while I'm at it, I'm going to have one of our case managers call you as a parent because you sound really tired. And I got the resources of someone who could listen really deeply to me and my husband. And I got a list of resources for options for me and my family. That came from individual conversations. And it transformed how Boulder County understands services for mental health. That's how these conversations matter. The shift, the capacity for us to imagine that together, joined together, rooted in what's important to us, we can make a change. And there's another congregation near us, a Catholic church called Immaculate Conception. When they did their one-to-ones, they realized it was housing. And they worked really hard on housing. They worked in some mobile home parks. They actually got some housing built in Lafayette. 400 units of affordable housing, the largest one in Boulder County. And they knew when they needed to pack the room with people so that the decision makers would side with them, they knew to call the fellowship. And then we showed up for them. And likewise, when we needed to pack the room for our mental health work to get the county to take us seriously, the folks at Immaculate Conception showed up for us. That is the power of this relational organizing. And for me, when I am aligned with my spirit and my actions, with what's most important to me, driving my actions, to me that's a spiritual alignment. And that's why I do this work. I love the capacity, the potential that shows up when people are engaged in that way. And it helps me wake up with a little bit of hope every day, a little bit. And it also helps me from feeling that, like, I got to do everything feeling, because I can trust that there's other people that are going to do other parts of it. So my invitation for you is that you will join me and the Social Justice Committee on this venture to explore what it could be like for Namakwa, to hear your stories of pain and hope, and then to join with others in Larimer County and beyond, statewide, to create the kind of world that actually meets our core needs and helps us experience ourselves as powerful, as beautiful, and all of us, no matter where we live, no matter our race, our gender, our sexual orientation, have all of us feel worthy and powerful in this world. So I hope you'll join me after the service for these beautiful conversations. Blessed be.
Fantastic, fantastic. Isn't she wonderful? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I invite us to rise and sing a song that goes perfectly with this, Building a New Way. Well, I invite you to, how do you say it? Reach out and connect.
Reach out and connect with those around you in whatever way is comfortable. There we go. I'm learning how y'all do things here.
Well, we're not done with the service. We're not done with the service.
We're not done with the
Reach out,
service.
hold hands.
Hold hands,
Yeah,
reach
we're not
out,
done with the
whatever feels
service.
comfortable or not comfortable.
Okay, holding hands.
And take another deep breath.
Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. Lydia, please? Thank you.
And may we go forth recognizing the power in each of us and imagining what we could do if we joined together. May we bring the world of our dreams and our longings into being. Grab some coffee and come on back in here and we'll talk about it some more.
Yeah, great.